And now additional fallout today from a brand new report finding the dynamics of the American family are changing. According to the Pew Research Center, mothers are now the sole or primary provider in 4 out of 10 households that include children under the age of 18. Back in 1960, that number was just 11%. The report sparking a debate on Lou Dobbs Tonight over on FBN over whether this spells problems for families. Listen.
When we're watching society dissolve around us, Juan, what do you think?
You're seeing, I think, systemically, larger than the political stories that we follow every day, something going terribly wrong in American society, and it's hurting our children.
Lou, I'm so used to liberals telling conservatives that they're anti-science, but I mean, this is liberals who defend this and say it's not a bad thing are very anti-science. When you look at biology, look at the natural world, the roles of a male and a female in society and other animals. The male typically is the dominant role. The female, it's not antithesis or it's not competing. It's a complementary role.
Bottom line, it could undermine our social order.
Joining me now, Lou Dobbs, host of Lou Dobbs Tonight on the Fox Business Network, and Erick Erickson, editor of RedState.com and a Fox News contributor. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
So I'll start with you, Erick. What makes you dominant and me submissive, and who died and made you scientist-in-chief?
Oh, it doesn't have anything to do with submissiveness per se, and it was certainly poorly constructed how I said it. What I meant by that was when you look throughout society, look at other animals, the male of the species tends to be the protector, the dominant one in that regard. And we've gotten to a point in this country where you have a lot of feminists who think that the male and female roles are completely interchangeable, that there is no need for a man to support his family. You've got men walking away. You've got women becoming single mothers, not by their choice. You got a lot of people thinking it's a lifestyle choice. This isn't healthy for society when we think that roles of gender completely can be interchangeable. No one's saying women can't be or shouldn't be a breadwinner or even the primary breadwinner. It's just that when we forced ourselves to this point in society where they have to be, that's not a good, healthy thing for society.
All right, but that's not exactly what you have been saying over the past couple of days. You got in trouble on Lou's show. We'll get to you in a minute, Mr. Dobbs.
Can't wait.
But you made these comments, and then you posted a blog at Red State trying to expand on your comments. And let's put for the moment to the side the issue of single parents, because that is dicier, and there is more data to support the notion that children who are in single parent families don't fare as well often. But you took it well beyond that. And this is from your blog. In modern society, we're not supposed to point out that children in a 2-parent heterosexual nuclear household have a better chance at long-term success in life than others. In modern society, we're supposed to applaud feminists who teach women they can have it all, that there's no gender-identifying role and women can fulfill the role of husbands and fathers just as men do. Now, there is data in the scientific community to suggest that children of homosexual couples who are happily married and are good parents fare no worse than children of heterosexual couples. And there is plenty of data to suggest that children of working moms, as opposed to stay-at-home moms, wind up just as healthy and able to thrive in society than the children of stay-at-home mothers.
Yeah, you know, Megyn, I tend to dispute that data largely because it's been so self-selective. If you take the most comprehensive study, for example, of gay families that came out of the University of Texas, that the left has tried to undermine, the sociologists who studied it noted that many of these studies that show there are no problems are typically of high-income lesbian families. And when you study higher-income families, you're absolutely right. Working mothers are very high income, their children, there really isn't a big difference. But when you go into the middle class, where a lot of these issues are bubbling up, when you have a mom who's working 12 hours a day and a dad who's working 12 hours a day and they come home and they're also trying to be good parents, you can't have it all. And they're making compromises, and I'm not judging them, and no one should, but it's just a reality.
You are,
no,
though.
I'm not judging them.
You are, because you come out very clearly and say that you believe that women who choose to work, instead of staying at home to, quote, nurture their children, and instead have the father do that, are imposing a worse future on their children than women who make a different choice, the choice you and your wife made.
Megyn, I don't view it as judging. I view it as a statement of fact that when you've got a mom who's working full-time and then coming home trying to be a full-time mom as well, it's very difficult. And I think 3/4 of the public, according to the Pew poll, agree that it's much harder to do.
Just because you have people who agree with you doesn't mean it's not offensive. And I know
look,
I know in your
understand it's
blog, I know in your blog, you talk about how you believe it's feminists, and I don't know what the word is, some sort of liberals. Eco-liberals? What did you call them?
Emo-liberal.
Right.
Yeah,
I don't know what that is.
About it.
But I don't think I'm an emo-liberal, and I don't describe myself as a feminist. But I will tell you, I was offended by your piece nonetheless. I didn't like what you wrote one bit, and I do think you are judging people. To me, you sound like somebody who's judging but wants to come out and say, I'm not, and now let me judge. And by the way, it's science, it's fact. Well, I mean, I have this is a list of studies saying your science is wrong and your facts are wrong. I want to get Lou in. Lou? You agree with this? Because you certainly sounded like you agreed with him when he was on your show.
Well, let me give you the sound of
Be careful,
the
Lou.
agreement, and that is this. What I said, and what I would acknowledge immediately, is that Erick is wrong about nature itself. The male is not always dominant, whether it be in a pride of lions, or whether it be in the queen bee and her hive and workers. But when the Serengeti is on fire, and that's what I was saying, it is time to look at what the impact here is. We are looking at a war on drugs that we're losing. We're looking at an economy in which jobs are not being replaced with either equal pay or near equal pay with a replacement job. We are watching classic traditional jobs in construction, manufacturing that have been male dominated in the sense that they were the predominant number of workers disappearing. We are looking at a society in which change is the absolute hallmark. And for people, and for anyone, in any discussion, in any debate on what is happening with women in the workplace, to ignore the fact that we have marriages breaking up, shattering in this society, and we know that that reduces by at least
Why are you attributing that to women in the workforce?
Excuse me. Let me just finish what I'm saying, if I may, O dominant one. The fact is that 3 times as many people in a single-family, a single-parent household are likely to end up with great psychological illness, with severe psychological illness.
But we were putting to the side single-parent families. We were putting that to the side. We were putting that to the side.
We can't put it to the side. You can't put it to the side.
Yes, we can, Lou, because we've had that debate, and that's not what this debate was about. The debate,
exactly
the place I took the debate.
It's exactly what it's about.
No, it isn't. It is not, because Erick took it.
Think about the reason. Think about the reason.
Let me go back to Erick. No, because you're getting out of bounds. You're getting out of bounds on the safer territory. Let me go back to Erick, because this is from your blog. This is according to Erick Erickson, and I quote, "The truth. Kids most likely will do best in households where they have a mom at home nurturing them while dad is out bringing home the bacon." American Psychological Association 2010 study, according to a review of 50 years of research. Children whose mothers work are no more likely to have any problems than kids whose mothers stay at home. They studied 69 studies over 59 years of research. Your fact and your science, Erick, is not supported by the American Psychological Association, the American Academy of Pediatrics, Columbia University study, University of North Carolina study. I mean, why are we supposed to take your word for it, Erick Erickson's science, instead of all of these experts?
Well, because one, I think the experts can be as politically motivated as anyone else when it comes to these particular studies, because it plays into a particular current notion that it's okay. And second, I do think when you got 3/4 of the public willing to recognize that the increase in moms as breadwinners, it makes it harder to raise kids. Yeah, I think most people understand moms typically are more nurturing than dads. Not always, not in all cases, and it's painting very broad brushstrokes, I admit.
Do you know that in this country, in the 50s and 60s, there were huge numbers of people that believed that the children of interracial marriages were inferior, were biologically inferior, and that is why it was illegal for blacks and whites to marry in some states in this country up until 1967. And they said it was science and it was fact. If you were the child of a black father and a white mother or vice versa, you were inferior and you were not going to set up for success. Tell that to Barack Obama.
Look, Megyn, look, I completely agree with you on that, but I do think there absolutely is something to kids having a stable home life. I'm not saying moms can't work. I'm not saying dads should be the only ones to work.
What's unstable about having a working mother and a nurturing, loving, stay-at-home father?
You know, if it works for you, God bless you for it working for you. But I do think that most people need to realize that it may work on an individual case, but in generalities, I do think having the mom who's the nurturing one at home when kids are little. My wife worked when my child was little.
But that's your
certainly not
choice.
judging her
God
for
bless
doing
you and
that.
your wife for your
Exactly.
choice. And nobody would take
It's a
that away from
choice.
you, but you are
Right.
denigrating the choices made by others. Let me get back to Lou.
I'm not,
Let me get
Megyn.
back to Lou and take it away from the single parent thing, because that's not. I mean, the facts are what the facts are and what happens with
I've
these
made your life
families.
harder, Lou.
But I'm
sorry.
trying to ask Lou to weigh in on your much more controversial statements about loving families, both parents present, and your notion that it is damaging to children to have the mother as the primary wage earner. Lou, I'll give you the last word.
Okay, the last word on this is I won't take up his argument. He's done very well, or as best he can, against your views. But the reason it's important to look at the impact of single-parent households and not take away from the discussion, but really add to it. Boys, males, are far more impacted by the disruption that surrounds a single-parent household. And the result is, in part, what we're seeing in society as they age and fail to be entering law school, going to get through high school, for crying out loud. It is very important to keep that in the discussion, in the debate.
I got it.
And meanwhile, God bless you and my wife and my daughters. I think I came out of this all right.
Look,
You guys,
I realize I'm in the 14th
guys,
century,
for coming
Megyn.
on. Thank